what are the Nephilim? We read about them for the first time in Genesis 6, 1 through 4. Now, some things we know is that they're referred to as the sons of God. They're also referred to usually being demons. However, I need you to understand that is not completely accepted. There are scholars and theologians who do not agree with that they are not demons. However, it's relatively accepted that the sons of God are demons. So the story goes, the sons of God came to earth, brought with them a Shania Twain mixtape, and started seducing the daughters of men. Well, who are the daughters of men? Human women. This produced creatures of extraordinary strength and size. Now, I know what you're thinking because I thought the same thing. Why are demons coming to earth, bringing with them Shania Twain mixtapes, and making sweet love to human women? And I wish there was a sound, legitimate theological answer that I could give you. However, we just don't have information. So it's really anybody's guess. So let's guess, because that'd be fun. So let's assume that they are demons and they come to earth. They start having relations with the daughters of men or human women. What is the purpose? Why are they doing this? One of the theories is that they're trying to pollute the bloodline. So why would they do that? The theory tells us that the reason they want to pollute the bloodline is to stop the coming Christ, or at the time, the coming Messiah. In Genesis 3:15, we read that God will someday crush the head of the serpent, which is Satan. Now, I think I know what you're thinking again. How does Shania Twain fueled love with women and demons have anything to do with God crushing the head of the serpent that is Satan? Well, don't worry, I'm going to get there. So as I was saying, if the demons keep reproducing with the human women, thus polluting the bloodline, there would never be a sinless seed of the woman, which later becomes the Messiah. Now, I want to be clear, I don't subscribe to this theory personally. However, it's a fun theory. I do need you to understand that there is nothing in Scripture anywhere that says the sons of God are angels, nor does the Bible tell us anywhere that angels are physiologically compatible with human women, if you know what I'm saying. So this is really all very speculative. Another theory, albeit kind of a stretch, again, in my opinion, is that the sons of God are fallen angels who have come to earth and possessed human men. Therefore, meaning they're using human men's physical bodies to pollute the bloodline and stop the coming Messiah. So in essence, this theory fixes the physiological incompatibility, possibly, between humans and angels. However, it's still 100% speculative in nature, and it's backed by absolutely nothing in Scripture. What happened to the Nephilim? Now, I know what you're thinking. Then the great flood comes, wipes out everything on the earth other than Noah, his family, and the animals on the ark. And I don't recall seeing giants on the ark. So this is when they got wiped out, right? Wrong. Genesis 6:4 says this: the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward. Now, one thing that I find kind of odd is that as you research this, you'll find many reputable sources will kind of downplay their presence after the flood. And I quote, "They were around, but not as prevalent as before." Now, whether that's true or not, I can assure you, they are not deducting that from Scripture. There is not a single word in Scripture that would indicate or make us think that the Nephilim issue or their presence in any way was lesser after the flood than it was before the flood. It's just something that they've kind of decided is true. Again, I want to be clear. I don't know whether that's true or not. I just know that it is not coming from Scripture. And then we see them pop up again in Canaan in Numbers 13:33. And at this point, there are three theories. The spies saw actual humans that just happened to be larger than normal and mistook them for Nephilim. The demons came back, procreated with human women, and then again began the bloodline of the Nephilim. Or, and I find this one kind of interesting, some traits of the Nephilim pass through the heredity of one of Noah's daughter-in-laws. Again, I want to be very clear. These do not come from Scripture. These are concepts, theories, and ideas that theologians and academics have tried to kind of piece together over the years. And I'll tell you why I kind of don't agree with this way of reading Scripture as we get to the end of the video. Okay, so how did they die and why don't they return? I'm going to hand you several verses if you want to go check them out yourselves. You've got Joshua 11:21 and 22, Deuteronomy 3:11, and 1 Samuel 17. In these, we can read about the Israelites killing the Nephilim. And it's believed that in these stories and then in their continued history, they had wiped them out completely. Now, honestly, the reasons that you'll find if you research this on why the Nephilim don't come back, I find to be extremely unsatisfying and theologically troubling. Some believe that God put these demons into some kind of isolatory state so that they could not return to Earth with their Shania Twain mixtape and start this all over again. And what they'll do is they'll refer you to Jude 6. So I'll read that to you. The angels who did not keep their positions of authority, but abandoned their own home, these he has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment on the great day. They will also justify it by saying this, and I quote, "Obviously not all demons are in isolation chains today. So there must have been a group of demons who committed further grievous sin beyond the original fall. Presumably, the demons who mated with human females are the ones who are bound with everlasting chains. This would prevent any more demons from attempting such sin." Now, the reason I don't find this satisfactory or theologically honest is because we're making an immense stretch on scripture that is already functioning off of a non-scriptural assumption. First, we're assuming that they're demons, right? And we have no evidence for this. We have no scripture for this. It's just a widely accepted understanding. Then you have to take that verse from Jude, which is already wildly non-descriptive, and then you have to apply it all willy-nilly to those theoretical demons. And it very well may be true. I'm not saying that it's not true. But if this is the way we read all of Scripture, we'd have even more translations, even more disagreements on how many versions of the Bible there are, and even more denominations in Christianity. Because that is a wild, wild west way of deciding what was happening in the Bible. It is a god-awful way of practicing exegesis. So we all need to be on the same page when I say these are theories. These are not backed by anything verifiable. The honest, no-stretch answer to who are the Nephilim, when did they come, how did they come, where did they go, why don't they come back? The answer to all these questions is I don't know. I have no idea about any of it. There's very little information on them at all. There are so many things in the Bible that I refuse to pretend like we have answers for, or pretend like what we've talked about today are facts. Regardless of any of it, it's a really interesting concept. And even the theories are wildly interesting, especially when you get into them deeper and deeper, because honestly, they just get crazier and crazier. And it's really interesting to read through all that stuff. But just so you guys know, this is about as good as it gets in terms of truth, if scripture is your history book. Now, you can find information about the Nephilim outside of scripture. How much weight you want to put in that is totally up to you. If you learned something today, do me a favor, hit the like button and leave a comment about what you think about the Nephilim. I'm genuinely kind of curious. I love you guys.